As Jonah Hill's new movie Y2K comes to be in theaters and the wave of 2000s nostalgia hits its peak, 80s nostalgia takes its final fatal blow with the 4:30 movie by Kevin Smith. As you can see by our symbolic purple Stranger Things color, Stranger Things final season happening soon. So Aiden, what is the plot of the 4:30 movie by Kevin Smith?
The 4:30 movie is Kevin Smith's coming-of-age movie, a genre that he mostly hasn't done in a traditional way, but this one's just a traditional one. It's about a little short, chubby boy in high school who says, "I'm going to ask out a girl I like to go to the movies." And then he goes to the movies with his friends. One of them is a normal guy, and one of them is Baby Alien
From the Bang Bus.
from the Bang Bus, who is his brother and keeps bacon in his pockets, and has a scene where he jerks off in the bathroom and gets kicked out
By Ken Jeong of all people.
by Ken Jeong. While they're at the movie theater, antics ensue, and also there's a fake movie they watch and a bunch of fake trailers starring all of Kevin Smith's friends, and references to movies, lots of references. Sometimes even references to things that hadn't happened yet. When the main character's talking to the usher, the guy's like, "What's next? They're gonna make a Star Wars 1, 2, and 3, and then a 6, then a 7, 8, 9, then a show about Boba Fett."
The Book of Boba Fett? A boring show where he hangs out with native people?
And then eventually he meets up with the girl, and she's like, "I like you. You worry too much. You're silly." And they kiss, and then the movie ends with the little chubby boy and his girlfriend and his friends looking at the gas station from Clerks and saying, "I'm going to make a movie called Clerks. You got Bojangled. It's me, Kevin Smith, in my own semi-fictional biopic about how I made Clerks."
Yep.
Because it always has to come back to Clerks. Connor, what'd you think of 4:30?
Kevin Smith did it again. He made another fucking bad movie. But it's not his worst movie. And it's not the worst movie of the year by any means. Let's not be hyperbolic. But what he created was a 30-minute movie that he padded to get to 128 minutes. Like, he couldn't even get 2 more minutes to bring it up to 90. The movie stars these 3 dudes and their girlfriend. The dude's girlfriend, Kevin Smith's girlfriend, fictional girlfriend. And the movie is about Kevin Smith coming to age and trying to grope a girl.
Yep.
That's the plot. And all of the usual suspects show up. Jason Mewes shows up as his dad.
Justin Long.
Rosario Dawson shows up for 4 seconds.
Ben Affleck
Probably
might have showed
via
up
green
sometime.
screen. Ben Affleck, I don't think showed up. Method Man showed up. Logic was, for some reason, one of the people in the movies, and I get the acting might have been intentionally bad, but instead of like making it like over the top campy, it just sounds like some guy who should never have been put behind a camera in his life.
Kevin Smith's daughter plays a prostitute.
Yeah, Kevin Smith's daughter plays a sexy hooker because Kevin Smith has to make a weird incest thing with his daughter every time he makes a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Smith met his daughter's mom by shooting her for an issue of Playboy magazine. And somehow it just worked out, and they had a daughter that she let him name after a, at the time, semi-new Batman the Animated Series character that presumably Kevin, like, jerked off to or something.
Yep.
But I don't know. The core of the movie is this romance, but the girl is in the first like 10 minutes of the movie and then is written out for half an hour and then or for like an hour, and that hour mostly consists of padding like movie trailers. At one point, the main character has to call his mom in a gag scene that might have been. Well, I didn't think anything in this movie was funny, but it might have been less annoying if it wasn't like 9 minutes long in this. I will generously say 86-minute movie because that's what it is. With
it also follows 9 minutes
bonus scenes of Logic running around in front of a shitty green screen.
It also follows 9 minutes of back-to-back fake trailers for fake movies, which are all just 30-second gags.
No one ever really comes back in any meaningful way. Justin Long is there for a minute as like a autistic pervert, like a religious autistic pervert, and then he disappears, never to return. You have Ken Jeong is the only, like, he's actually stars in the movie, unlike everyone else.
Yeah, he's the main villain.
He's the main villainish thing. He's just kind of a douchebag movie manager that takes his job too seriously. And it's like, yeah, if you're a movie theater lifer, you're a douchebag who takes your life too seriously. I worked at AMC for 4 years. I might know a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to lifer managers and how they all fucking suck.
Yep.
But while I was running theaters, I learned that there's no reason to take theaters nostalgically. They're horrible shitholes. But the idea, like at one point, James Franco and Kevin Smith get, not real James Franco, fake James Franco, to mind you, this kid who looks like James Franco, and they get in an argument, and he's like, "You're a douche," and because you want to control me for some reason that's kind of undetermined, and he says, "You're being a douche too because second act conflict between the main characters has to happen." And then Baby Alien says, "I was on the bang bus." I think this is offensive. I think this guy has a condition in common with Baby Alien. He has Baby Alien syndrome. I think it's fucked up. We're bringing it to light. But
yeah, and then things are just fine like 10 minutes
later.
And
then he kind of just shows up after he meets Major Disaster, who's like some half-cooked like character in the movie. There's a lot of like everyone's a half-cooked character. No one's fully cooked.
Well, you don't like the gag character of overbearing mom and stoner dad, or black army lieutenant guy
who's a wrestler. They call it
who's a wrestler.
Okay, but here's the thing: overbearing mom finds Kevin Smith and his young girlfriend he wants to grope so bad in the movie theater, and says, "You guys gotta get the fuck out of here, because I'm mad at you." And then they do some cheesy line where she's like, "I'm gonna be grounded forever and have no fun for the rest of the summer." And then they wander around, and then he's like, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" After they do this scene where they're like, "Let's run," and then it just cuts to them at a different spot because Kevin Smith was too lazy to like film them running or actually having fun. So supposedly, while they were on that run, they fell in love because the girl turns him down at first and says, "You're just a pervert who wants to grope me, Kevin Smith." And I'm like 14, so that's really fucked up because you're like, aren't you like 55 or something like that, you old ass creep? And then Kevin Smith says, "I run Smodcast. I'm gonna make Clerks one day." But anyways, then she's like, "But you're like so creative and sexy, and you have made the best movies of all time because sometimes your ratings are so good." And then he says, I didn't just want to grope you, I wanted to be your boyfriend." And then she says, "Yeah, okay." And then they kiss, and that's the end of the movie. Yep. And everything's half-baked ideas because Kevin Smith spent 30% of the plot was overly long, 3 overly long gags that each lasted 10 minutes. 10% of the plot was weird movie scenes of his daughter as a hooker or Logic as a space guy that is not even remotely funny. Another 10% is like miscellaneous cameos that aren't very relevant. Like Like
Like
Kevin
when
Smith's
Meth-
like, I gave you your big break. Come on, Rosario Dawson, please show up on set.
I like when
And
Method
she's
Man
like,
shows up
"Fucking
at the
whatever."
start of the
Method
movie.
Man literally
And
fucking cameoed.
Method Man and Kevin Smith, little Kevin Smith, talk, and they're like, and Method Man just says, movies aren't real, and then the kid says, yeah, I know, and then he's like, Jaws didn't happen, and that
They
scene
just
goes
list-
on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe just like if he was like one movie that's outlandish didn't happen, or like one movie didn't happen and one that's outlandish, he's like, that one might have or something. That's the gag. But he just lists off stuff he knows. He's like, Star Wars didn't happen. Jaws, what other movies came out in the 80s? Back to the Future, that didn't happen.
Rocky.
And it's just like, please remember movies that are you'd actually want to watch. That'll carry this movie into the sunset. It was trash. It was probably just about as bad as Clerks 3, which is just like shit. And whatever the last one before that we saw was. I think we're on 3 in a row. Did we see Kevin Smith J. Bob Strike Back or Jane Silent Bob? Like 5 or
I don't think I did. You might
I
have.
think I saw it on Netflix or something, or maybe I got it on Vudu on sale for like $5, and I'm like, what the hell? That movie's worse than both of these. But Kevin Smith, for the last like 2 decades of making movies, is 0 and 49 or whatever. So Hayden, what did you think of 4:30 the movie?
It's really, I don't know, it's just kind of lame. Like, it's not as outright bad as, like, Yoga Hosers and all that shit. It's just kind of like the world's most generic coming-of-age movie, but it's only, like, 7 minutes long, and it's spliced together with gags that never end. It just hops gag to gag, telling movie-related gags. Method Man realizes movies aren't real, and then they get to the theater, and then there's 15 minutes of fake trailers, and then there's 10 minutes of the phone call with his mom where his mom's overbearing, and then there's 10 minutes of the fake bad movie where the guys are in a Viking and a spaceman.
There's like a 9-minute joke about how Bill Cosby is a good guy between General Wrestler guy and fake James Franco.
Yep.
Fake James Franco's like, I think I'm going to start an acting school, and he's crossed his arms and nodding his head at like a sham acting school.
There's a recurring gag that takes up like 5 minutes each time where baby alien gets accused of jacking off in public and then jacks off in public.
Yep.
And there's also a recurring gag where they smuggle bacon into a movie theater and everyone wants bacon. And it's just a collection of vignettes loosely stitched together, like gag vignettes that are just one joke stretched as long as possible to force this thing over 82 minutes or whatever it is. Whatever number it is. Whatever not very large number it is.
I think the problem is it's like, yeah, it's a merciful 86 minutes, but the problem is the 86 minutes is used so bad that, like, I feel like a 20-minute episode of Goosebumps is able to fit in more plot than this.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably one of the most
if you
unfocused script ever.
If you boil down the plot to its essentials, it's boy goes to movie theaters with friends, and then a girl shows up, and then they kiss.
Did anybody proofread this movie, or did somebody just
No.
have, or did, like,
This movie was written, directed, and edited by K. Smith. This is
paid for by the Saban guy? Kevin Smith must have said, I love Power Rangers. I'm the only grown man who was 35 when Power Rangers came out that can confidently say he loves Power Rangers. And then the Saban guy's like, do you want like $100,000 to make a movie? He's like, here's my script, you can proofread it. And the Saban guy's like, I'm not gonna watch this movie anyways. It's just a guaranteed win on investment because people just buy the shitty
Kevin
movie.
Smith fans are bizarre.
I mean, in fairness, we missed the movie in theaters, so I bought it on Blu-ray. So I'm fueling the fire. Although, there's a comfort to them, kind of like the Liam Neeson movies. It's like, I like how we always review all of the Liam Neeson. The Kevin Smith seems like one that we have jumped on the bandwagon of.
Yep.
the DC animated movie cycle. There's just some movies we never miss, and they're like 99.9% of the time just a total fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. It's not a very good coming of age movie. Because all the coming of age stuff happens in 3-minute scenes interspersed between gags about old movies and sometimes gags about movies that don't exist yet for the purpose of commenting on pop culture, like the Star Wars shit. It's just not very good. It's just not very good.
I also just want to see the dinner table conversation, because I assume like Harley Quinn Smith has never had a real job. She just like works for Kevin Smith's movies or whatever. And I mean this with all the respect to Kevin Smith and Harley Quinn Smith, but like, did he have the dinner table conversation where he's like, "What if you were like a hooker nun?" And she's like, "Okay." And he's like, "What if your tits were out in Daddy's movie?" It's like, okay, bro.
Yeah. So Connor, would you recommend the 4:30 movie?
Pass on this one. Pretty bad. So Aiden, would you recommend the 4:30 movie?
No. Not really, no.
Shocking takes. After such a glowing review. It was a hard fought battle.
It came so close to earning that recommendation.
I just think like if they use more of the I just think if more of the 86 movie minutes was used as plot instead of like 5-ish minutes of the movie, then maybe something could have been made of it, but alas.
I guess next time we get to see this aesthetic again will be for Y2K.
My theory? Never mind, I can't say that. Jay-Z would sue me.